Topic for today, combat, right? When we talk about PTSD, we talk about potential suicides. What could be the connection, especially when it relates to combat? Most people think of actual deaths, actual incidents with a bomb or something, right? An IED, improvised explosive device. But there are also other things that could potentially be PTSD stressors that could also result into suicides. For example, when I was a postal platoon leader, my first deployment, there were convoys that we did. And when you're doing a convoy, for some people that may not necessarily have done one before, it's almost like someone saying, you will have a car wreck when you go drive your car this week. It's going to happen. It is prone to happen. We don't know when it's going to happen, but it's prone to happen. So you're always going to be on high, on alert, until you get back into that forward operating base or whatever it may be that is that home station for you while you're deployed. Every time you go out the gates until you come back, you're on this high alert that there is this probability that something will happen. You don't know where, you don't know when, but there's a probability that it will happen. Additionally, there were things as far as I had soldiers that were dispersed into a different location, and there was no lights there whatsoever. So at nighttime, you heard all this incoming, outgoing rockets and missiles and so forth, and booms. And the only way to be able to designate whether it was friendly or enemy was Superman for friendly, came over the intercom, and Juggernaut for enemy. So think about living in an environment like that, right? Where nothing physically happened, but you heard it going on throughout the night continuously. And the only way you could understand what was going on was through the speakers or the signals coming through the walkie-talkies and the radios, and walking around in an environment that had no light, so you didn't really know what was going on. There was other locations where I provided postal services, and I had 2 soldiers that lived there in Basra Air Station, where people could come and go freely off and on the installation. There was one person that got ran over while out running. There was another person that almost got kidnapped while taking their shower. I mean, there was that type of, not every base has the infrastructure that you would normally think would happen. My second deployment, I was with the infantry organization serving as a personnel service officer of about 1,200 people spread across multiple different locations. And you're talking about, even though I did not personally see it, I had to read and I had to submit Purple Hearts, action badges. I had to support and work with our chaplain regarding memorial services, writing and tweaking letter of sympathies for my boss, right? And these are things that even though we weren't physically there, you're still seeing it, you're reading it, you're observing it. My peers, my fellow peers that were leaders, they couldn't necessarily talk to their boss or talk to their peers who were their competitors in evaluation systems, so they would maybe come talk to me. And I had to be that voice or that rock for them to be able to lean on, because they knew they had to stay strong for their soldiers. So there's things that go on that can create PTSD that most people may not be thinking about, that could also become stressors that when they try to transition into corporate America, that some people may not be thinking about. They're thinking of the regular common stuff that's pushed out in the media, in the news, in the movies, in the TV shows, and not these other things that could be subtle hints, subtle stressors that could potentially result in suicide.